Hello friends, and welcome back
Oh, vocal fry. Oh!
to another video. I know, this is John.
Is this the one?
That's one way to put it. I smile. He has to go find Abby. Your boy roller skates.
Oh, okay. Normal angsty book plot. Now we have arrived at the school shooting scene. Okay, I'm assuming that that's gonna be... Is that here?
And at this point, we completely forget that Davis exists, and Greg is like, Abby's ex-bad guy.
No, here's the most replayed part.
A weird conversation while I'm in the shower. This situation does not evolve.
I can't listen to her voice, though. How about this guy?
Hi everybody, how y'all doing? It's another book review. This time we're doing something a little different. It's not just gonna be a quick 5-minute summary. Ash,
School shooting.
knock it off. It's not gonna be another 5-minute summary of the book and a quick shot of thoughts. I wanted to go a little more girlfriend, the one good thing in his life. If this school shooting was like the actual climax, it could have been good. It could have been useful, but it's not.
That's crazy. That's a crazy... They're saying this school shooting could have worked.
You can use a big scene like this
You
early
just didn't
on
use it well.
to establish who a person is. Michael Grant's Gone, for example, does this extremely well when the main character, a 14-year-old named Sam, has to...
Dude, fiction's just like bad. Like, I don't know. I mean, there's fiction that's like okay. Like Harry Potter's good, obviously. We're all Potterheads. Like, chat, come on. We all agree we're Potterheads, right? And like The Alchemist is kind of fun. You know, like that's an okay one. And like the first Maze Runner book, there's maybe something to that. The second one immediately loses you. What else? Yeah, other than that, fiction's just bad, and people who read fiction are just retarded.
charge into a burning building to save a kid's life. And that scene in that book was great because it showed character.
Oh,
it
someone
showed
sent
that
me.
Sam stood out from the other kids that were
Thank
gathered around the
you.
building, worried. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? Sam at that point is a man of action. He is a
Wait,
hero.
who
and that
is it? Who
establishes
sent me
who
this?
he was.
Kay just sent me. Hold on. Kay just sent me the Onision book. Thank you, whoever that was. I really appreciate it. I forget who that. I have an idea of who that is. All right, here we are. Stones to Abbigale. Hold on, let me just find it real quick. I just want to find the part. I just want to read the school shooting part. Like that shit's just so good. What chapter in Onision's book does the school shooting scene take place? Chapter 18 to 19. Okay. This isn't even a very long book. Each chapter is like 3 pages. I mean, that's probably... It would be retarded if it was more, right? Chapter 18. I couldn't miss any more days of school at Lakewood High. Hold on. I need like visual novel. Visual novel. OSTs. Yeah. I couldn't miss any more days of school at Lakewood High. Had little tolerance for repeat absences. Had I not returned to school shortly after, they would have invalidated the work I had already done that semester. I pretty much the same classes all year. Washington State History 1 and 2 covered my first and second semesters. My TA position was extended for the second semester. Meanwhile, gym class had yet to see Mr. Mack return as far as I knew, but I hadn't been to school in a few days. As I walked into school, it felt like nothing had changed. Like no one knew Davis had even existed in the first place. Did I miss it? Oh, okay, it was this chapter. No, it was this. Wait, it was this chapter? Dude, Gave me the wrong chapters. Did Davis do it? Bro, never reads chat. Look at your chat. It was me. The shooting starts on page 31. Wait, it starts that early? Dude, why is ChatGPT lying to me? Okay, here we go. Hold on. Restart this OST. Thank you, Cake Loiper. Quite a few days passed. Everything felt like it was falling into place with Abby. She had become the center of my world. And I felt like I was finally really enjoying my life. One morning, my nose woke me up. There was an unfamiliar but pleasant smell filling my bedroom. For the first time in a long while, breakfast was ready for my sister and me. My mom had made eggs and waffles. To my surprise, Rick, fucking asshole, was again sitting at our table. Him being there completely explained why my mom was making breakfast. Step ass. I approached everyone already sitting and said good morning. Rick seemed a little nervous, and again my mom asked that we all have a talk. I sat down, not so sure of what to expect. Rick spoke. Listen, I don't want to tiptoe around this topic. Your mother and I want to move in together. My sister's arm went limp as she was attempting to eat, making her fork smack against her plate as she dropped her jaw simultaneously. While she was normally overdramatic about most everything, her reaction pretty much summed up how I too was feeling this time. My mom tried to soften the blow by saying, and yes, this is going to be a pretty big transition for all of us, but we'll make it through. It began to hit me harder as I thought, oh wait, this isn't page 31. Okay, so Step Douche, so the morning starts with Step Douche telling him, listen, I know I'm not your father, but I'm moving in. I did the wrong page 31, sorry. Chapter 7. That's good though, like that's a good build-up. That was good because I've never read the book, I've only heard about the book. This just proves that if we wanted another good Life is Strange game, we should just like have Onision write it with no irony. Like get Onision to write a story that he's trying to make genuinely good. Like that he's not joking about, that there's no silliness to, he's not doing it with any, any irony at all. Like a totally genuine attempt. Anyway. Chapter 7. I found myself fallen somewhere deep in a conscious state of unconsciousness. Someplace I can't remember. It may sound strange, even ridiculous, but I felt like I opened my eyes while I was asleep and saw only black. Not as if I were blind, but as if the rest of existence had simply disappeared and I was just alone. It wasn't long before I woke to find myself submerged in reality once more. Thoughts of Abby quickly greeted me as I adjusted the experience of my physical surroundings. For a week now, I've been constantly reminding myself how lucky I was to have a relationship that actually made sense. Abby never did anything that I felt betrayed me or exceeded the bounds of reason. Davis was sitting next to me on the bus. He was talking about his Lego collection and how he loved matching colors in a sequence within the structures he assembled. He said it made him feel like there was some balance and order to his life in a weird way. While I listened to Davis, my thoughts partially remained on Abby. She continued to fill my mind with hope, no matter where I was or what I was doing. We arrived at school on, you guessed it, another cloudy day. I knew it was unreasonable to assume, but I often felt like school was the darkest place in the city. It was as if every morning the clouds would execute a biased agenda against our school, all for the sake of depressing every poor soul who attended it. The wind was blowing. Looking back, I felt like everything about that morning was screaming at me to wake up, see what was really going on. But I couldn't see it. I don't know how I could have. Dramatic events have a way of sneaking up on us, leaving us only with feelings of remorse and thoughts of what could have been. Davis got off the bus behind me, tripping a little. A normal kid would have gotten upset, but Davis, as usual, found a way to turn into something positive, even laughed as he stumbled. I turned to check on Davis to make sure he was okay, when I heard a loud popping sound ring off toward the school. My immediate assumption was that a car in the back parking lot had just backfired. There was a lot of crappy secondhand cars at our school, so it wasn't unreasonable. But still, I assumed wrong. Davis and I heard screaming immediately. After, and in a way, the wind seemed to turn the screams, what sounded like a chorus, one familiar to the haunting dream I had about Abby. Now, many days passed. Hearing more popping sounds and screams in the wind, I instinctually grabbed Davis's jacket, pushing him back toward the bus. Students weren't aware of what was going on due to the heavy wind and competing noise from the bus engines reacted as if we were being inconsiderate jerks. To shake everyone into reality, I screamed, "There's a shooting! Get back on the bus!" A sudden panic took over everyone within the vicinity. The bus driver, who was already looking around, suspicious of the faint sounds he heard, reacted as well. "Get on the damn bus," he screamed. I could hear some students begin to cry out of panic as we all rushed to duck down behind the bus seats. The bus driver slammed the door shut, leaving behind a few students who had already walked too far away from the bus. The driver, despite being a grown man, was freaking out like everyone else, and as a result, found himself crashing our bus into the one parked immediately ahead of him. As the bus collided, our bodies smacked into the seats ahead of us. One student wasn't even hiding behind the seats yet and flew forward to land face down in the aisle. The bus driver, quickly recovering from his mistake, backed up to maneuver out of the drop-off area. The window by my seat fell off the side of the bus and shattered on the ground, while the front windows also began to detach after being impacted by the earlier collision. A thunderous gust of wind burst through the void left by fallen windows. With the wind came the sounds of even louder gunshots and screaming, as if the shooter was closer to the front of the school. I was too scared to look, but someone else had locked their eyes on the front door of the school and screamed, "Seth!" A sense of absolute horror overtook my body, and tears began to flow from my eyes. If Seth was really shooting up the school, I knew that meant he would be looking for Abby. I think that's Abby's ex-boyfriend, something. All fear left my body. I think this is supposed to be like the jock. Like the jock of the school is shooting it up. Not Onision. Somehow Onision's not the shooter in this, and like the football captain is. All fear left my body, thinking only of her. I leapt up and screamed, "You have to let me off right now." The bus driver ignored me initially. He was too concerned with getting away from the school. He probably didn't even hear me with everything that was going on. The inconsistent, forceful acceleration forced me to fall back in my seat. Countless thoughts pounded through my head, and yet every other word screamed Abby's name. My mind was numb. The wind surged through my hair. Everyone around acted almost like magnets, helplessly nailed to the dirty floor. I was the only one sitting in the seat, completely lost in thought. My eyes staring off 1,000 yards, my skin pulsating with heat. I felt like I was a bomb only minutes away from detonation. I remained silent, still, waiting for my numbers to fall in sync, waiting for my mind to greenlight an act that would change my life forever. I had a moment of abnormally intense clarity. Seth had irreversibly lost his mind. I could only suspect he would likely blame his broken state on Abby. After their last encounter, I couldn't take thinking about it for more than a few seconds. I sprinted up to the driver and screamed, "If you don't let me off, I'll jump off." The bus driver plunged the bus into the side of the road violently. As a result, I stumbled, falling hands first onto the bus dashboard. The driver yelled, "You got a death wish. That's your choice, but I'm getting everyone else out of here." He opened the door and aggressively motioned for me to get off. By the first wave of his backhand, I had already bolted out. I violently ripped my backpack open, tried to put on my skates. There's no way. There's no way. I tried to put on my skates while maintaining my speed toward the school. For only a few seconds, I was skating at full speed. I could already hear the first of many sirens to come up in the distance as the gunshots continued to ring in heavy air. My whole body felt like I was jumping out of my skin. Tears continued to pour from my face, from both the wind hitting my eyes and the war raging in my mind. Dude, I did not know that he pulls out skates in this book. He gets off the bus. to run back over to the school. The bus driver's like, all right, fine, kid. You want to die? Go for it. And then while running, is putting on roller skates. And then just starts skating on toward the school. That's how David Hogg got away from the Parkland shooting. He skated away to get his camera. My whole body felt, well, after only a few seconds, I was skating at full speed. I could only hear the first of many sirens in the far off distance. As the gunshots continued to ring in the heavy air, my whole body felt like it was jumping out of my skin. Tears continued to pour down my face. As I approached the school, I could see freshly fallen bodies by the door, exactly where Seth had walked out as our bus left. I could have sworn they were all still moving, but my eyes were blurred from tears as he skates past the bodies. And I knew many of, not all of the shots were fatal. I didn't know much of anything about human anatomy, but through the blur I could tell Seth was shooting people, mostly in the neck and head, leaving little for medics to work with. Wow, similar to the Charlie Kirk death. How did he know? I fell to my knees at the entrance, whipping my legs around while simultaneously straining to take off my skates. The floor was too slippery with blood to move anywhere. On those tiny wheels, my pants already had bloodstains from the bodies nearby. I had no time to focus on what was happening. I had no time to consider anything but Abby's safety. I ran off in my socks, one barely even on my foot, leaving everything at the entrance. I felt I was running entirely on an autopilot function. I didn't even know I had. In only seconds, I saw more blood than I had seen, let alone imagined in my entire life. The inside of the school was soaked with the sounds of sobbing students who weren't shot but too scared to move or even function. One student, clearly in shock, was just crawling down the hall, wailing and shaking. The thought of Abby shook me out of sorrow I felt for the student. The first place I could think to look for Abby was her locker, and I was already halfway there. I approached and found nothing. No one was even shot in the area of her locker, and I had to look elsewhere. As I returned to the entrance area of the school, I crouched next to the table and froze in place to listen for any sign of where Seth was. It felt like minutes, but I imagined it was only seconds. My state of mind likely altered my perception of time. Every survival-based operation functioning to its maximum ability, aside from my flight instinct that demanded I run and hide like the rest. Another gunshot, and finally violently shattered the sound of whimpers and lunges, desperately choking for air as they filled with blood. The gunshot sound was distant, as if it went off outside, on the other end of school, sprinting off in the direction of what I had already accepted as potentially my final destination. Abby remained at the forefront of my mind. Bursting out the side doors of Lakewood High, I crouched and I froze in place again. My senses once more ignited. I immediately heard a voice scream out, "I will not let you do this, you psychopath." It was an old woman, the only old woman I ever knew to go anywhere near the trailer classrooms just ahead. It had to be Miss Stanley. I shot forward like a cannonball being fired on a long-awaited enemy. Even the wind felt like it had stepped aside to let me pass without resistance. As the art trailer came into view, I could see Mrs. Stanley approaching Seth. She had stood tall without any indication of fear. Seth was dressed in a long white coat with a pure white outfit underneath. We just need this as context there. This is who's running up here. Seth was dressed in a long white coat with pure white outfit underneath. This was all clearly premeditated, like he wanted to proclaim how much blood he had shed. Not just around him, but on his body as well. He got what he wanted. He was drenched from collar to shoe in the blood of his fellow students. Despite Mrs. Stanley's aggressive stance, Seth barely paid attention to her and limped by her trailer as if she didn't even exist. I assumed his crippled posture was the result of the unfathomable. I can't read, and also it won't let me zoom in. Oh wait, actually I can probably. Okay, I can't do it with the scroll wheel, but I can do it with plus. There we go. Going back wasn't, despite Miss Stanley's aggressive stance, Seth barely paid attention. What he was subjecting everyone to, the mortifying level of terror and suffering, was like nothing he had likely imagined. Going back wasn't an option on any level. Seth was already dead to the world for what he had done. He had to have known there was no place in life left for him. No place to hide or chance of ever feeling safe from judgment or persecution again. Miss Stanley screamed at him again. You are an embarrassment, a disgrace. How dare you, you scum! Upon hearing her verbal condemnation without hesitation, Seth whipped his gun toward her like a sword being unsheathed. Like a sword being unsheathed. Time again, it felt like it had drastically slowed as his weakened arm struggled to steady his aim. I ran at Seth, and he screamed in pain just from the weight of lifting his gun towards her. Miss Stanley tried to step to the side of the shaking muzzle, but maintained her advance on him, clearly hoping to disarm him. I was just...
Jemmy just gifted 10 subscriptions on Kick.
Thank you, Jemmy. Big shout out. I appreciate it. Let's go. Dude, I don't understand how you can't have Reddit finger, because I use the middle finger to shoot, which, like, I get that's an issue, too. This isn't a real gun. Also, because I think that's Kick TOS. This is like one of those guns that they shoot the fucking shell up. After you shoot it, it, like, shoots a shell up when you, like, recock it. But dude, how is Reddit finger even possible? I can't even do that. I mean, I guess I could do this, but that's just like retarded. I always shoot like that. When I shoot pistols, which, like, I get that's an issue, because if you had it like on this, that would hurt. Like if you had it there, when it was like, anyway. Thank you, Jemmy, with the very generous support. I appreciate it. Big shout outs. Welcome, Beta. Water Grabber, Darth Flog, Nuke Turkey, Hedgehog, Dr. BWC, BBQ, Cart, Young Nibba, Party Slasher, and PHI7IQ. Sorry, I'm not reading chat. It's hard to read this and chat. Like this is already hard enough to focus on. I can't be reading chat at the same time. So if you're saying funny things, I apologize. I'll read stuff in a second. Anyway, repeat all the funny things you said after I'm done reading this part. Anyway, back to that. Despite Miss Stanley's aggressive stance, he barely paid attention to her, till she said, "You are an embarrassment, a disgrace, fuck you." Then Seth turned. I ran, Upon hearing her verbal condemnation without hesitation, Seth whipped his gun toward her, like a sword being unsheathed. Time again felt like it had drastically slowed as his weakened arm struggled to steady his aim. I ran at Seth as he screamed in pain, just from the weight of lifting his gun towards her. Ah! Miss Stanley tried to step to the side of the shaking muzzle, but maintained her advance on him, clearly hoping to disarm him. I was just about to reach Seth to attempt disarming him when out of nowhere his gun flew in the air and Seth yelped as the air left his lungs. It screeched to a halt in my blood-soaked socks, trying to process what had happened. My watery eyes and adrenaline was clouding my perception, possibly even more now than before. But I was able to process that another student had tackled Seth. I almost immediately identified the student as Jason from his size and clothing type. The very same boy who had chipped my tooth and pummeled my face was now beating Seth senseless. In such a strange way, I could sense within myself a glimmer of deep satisfaction, not only from the realization that Jason had single-handedly cut the head off this otherwise ongoing tragedy in our lives, but instead that he had, without a doubt, clearly held back when he was fighting me. This time I could see Jason was letting out every ounce of brutal rage he had within him and unleashed it all on a desperately defeated Seth. Mrs. Stanley turned her back on Seth, still being dominated by Jason's fists, leaving him for dead to go help other students. I collapsed to my knees, gasping for air as I heard Seth's face being repeatedly impacted by the fists and elbows of a justifiably enraged Jason. How could you do this to my family? To all of us? Do you think you accomplished anything, you bastard? You sick freak! Jason screamed as the now unconscious, bloodied face of Seth, while showing no intention of letting up. As I calmed my breathing, not forgetting my priority for even a moment, I quickly began running through Abby's daily routine at school. Her class, just before art, was human anatomy, which wasn't far from where I was. Running back inside the school, I leapt over fallen chairs and abandoned possessions, only to find Abby's class completely empty. She was nowhere to be seen. I immediately reminded myself she was normally early, which made me begin to feel she had escaped safely, as there was only one door out, a door that, to my knowledge, had no bodies near it. I ran, taking the path of least resistance, out of the front entrance to see students gathering near the school property line. They were bundled in a tight-knit group. Behind the trees immediately outside the bus drop-off zone. Despite my aching feet and intense stress, I reached the group in little time. Now missing a sock, my feet littered with broken glass, gathered through my search for Abby. Most all of the girls were crying, with many of the boys were giving a 1,000-yard stare, their eyes locked on the school. Pushing myself through the group, I could see Abby sitting on the ground in the upright fetal position. An overwhelming sense of relief consumed me as I fell forward to wrap myself around her. Sorry, I had to change the soundtrack. Pushing myself through the group, I could see Abby sitting on the ground in the upright fetal position. An overwhelming sense of relief consumed me as I fell forward to wrap myself around her. She was shaking and whimpering uncontrollably. I immediately said, "I'm so sorry I wasn't there." "Abby, I'm sorry." She lurched up, only then realizing I had found her. She grabbed me with her strength beyond any embrace we had had before. I never imagined she was so strong. Abby was unable to say anything over her crying. As a wave of emotion continued to overtake me, I had nothing I could say either. We remained speechless together. Through the group of students' legs, I could barely see the lights from police cars pulling up to our school. Everything seemed like it had happened over a period of 40 minutes, but it was in fact a small fraction of that. Soon after, I witnessed unmarked cars, ambulances, and SWAT had all responded with a similar level of urgency as well. We could only sit and wait as the police sorted out everything that had happened over the next few hours. After some time, I was able to report on what I saw as I sat on a curb while a medic pulled glass out of my feet. They were all out of the ambulances and stretchers, so I was grateful just to have someone to help me get patched up, since the adrenaline was no longer distracting me from the pain. We were given blankets as we waited outside. Abby refused to be more than a foot away from me for a single moment. We were both so incredibly relieved to still have each other, as if we were vital parts of the same system, one not being able to maintain the stability without the ensured safety of the other. Off in the distance, I could see a large amount of empty body bags being delivered. The entire area was swarmed with every emergency response service you could imagine. Not far behind stood a group of reporters, significantly expanding in size every passing hour. Not too long after my feet were bandaged, and I had given the police all the information they asked for, I was able to leave with Abby. As we headed toward the cordon, I saw my mom waving her arms just outside the police established barrier. Upon seeing her, the immediate sad reality sank in both our minds that Abby's dad didn't even bother to show. Fucking asshole. Knowing that what I was thinking, Abby tried to reassure me, and likely herself in the process. She began saying her father probably didn't even know there was an emergency, but pointed out that he was probably still recovering from being drunk the night before. As I walked into my mom's arms, she became the second woman that day to show me a strength I never imagined they had. Her hug, while painful, offered me an unforgettable sense of comfort. She embraced me. She revealed, to my surprise, that she'd already been briefed on how close I was to everything that went down. I know you were running at the shooter. Honey, I heard that you had roller skated out of the bus towards the shooter in an attempt to stop him. And the only reason that you didn't stop him was because your bully, Jason, had stopped him before you could reach him. Oh, dude, this is good. This is a good... I don't know what everyone's talking about. This is a good book. This is a good book. Anyway. All right. Well, that was fun. So, yeah, that's the Onision book. Very good. Very good. I forgot about that. I forgot that there's one where he literally is like at a school shooting. I did not know. I'd never read it before. Like, that was absolute keynote. The roller skate thing. How was that real? What year was that book? Tears for Abigail. No. Stones to Abbigale. Stones to Abbigale. Release dates 2015. Dude, that's so 2015? I guess that makes sense. That means that if they had made this into a video game, it would have been the most fucking Kino perfect video game of all time. Like, if they had made this into a Telltale type game, Life is Strange like game, this would have been the greatest thing ever. It's only a few years after Sandy Hook. Yeah, that's true. So 3 years after Sandy Hook, or 3 or 4. Oh my gosh. My name drop I ran so many times. When MGS5 came out, similar story. Yeah. That's true. That is true. Yeah. Parallels there with the hospital and stuff. True. Absolute Kino, though. Dude, the Onision lore is so insane. Like, Onision, Chris Hansen.
What are you reporting?
Hi, there's a person who's been stalking me online, and they just showed up to my house.
Okay, and they're outside now?
Yes, they're knocking on my door.
Okay.
Hi, you ever see Dateline? You know to Catch Your Predator? You know Chris Hansen? Yeah, he's like stalking me. Can you send someone over?
And do you know if they have any weapons?
They have a bunch of camera people, like they're YouTube stalkers.
As you watch this, it's important to remember that all the camera crews, sound guys, and attorney Mike Morris stayed on the street when I went up to knock on James Jackson, Gregory Jackson, Onision's door to see if he would talk to me. I've been doing this for some 40 years.
Bro, Ebenezer says, yo, brother, we're not gay. Okay, chat. Someone want to tell him? Someone want to tell Ebenezer in chat? Who's going to break it to him?
I didn't get into YouTube to start journalism, but I did take my brand of journalism to YouTube to expose alleged predators.
Okay. But no weapons seen?
I didn't see any weapons. I just saw like 6 guys in my driveway, and one of them is knocking on my door.
Okay, 1 second here. And the one that's knocking on your door, is he the main one that you said has been stalking you?
Yes, he's a...
Can I be honest though? The book's not as bad as I thought. Like I don't like Onision. I don't hate Onision. I'm kind of like, he's just like a force that exists in reality, you know? Like, I don't really have that strong of feelings either way. Because it's kind of just funny that he exists. But I was expecting that to be way worse than it was, you know, honestly. Like, that was just like average young adult fiction. Like, if we're being real, like, young adult fiction is such slop. That entire genre is so retarded that you know, this is kind of just like average.
The stalker, he's yelling things at me through the door right now.
It's ironic that Onision says I've been stalking him, when in fact he's the one accused of stalking his young female victims on YouTube and on various social media platforms. He also went so far as to take my video from interviews and splice them together with video of him, making it falsely look like I asked him some questions. Absurd.
Okay, and what do we know his name at all?
It's Chris Hansen.
Okay, H-A...
Okay, so do we know who's at your door? This is the most insane 911 call ever. Onision's calling 911. Okay, so do we know who's at your door? Yeah, it's fucking Chris Hansen, you know?
N-S-E-N?
H-A-S-E-N, yeah. H-A-N-S-E-N.
And then C-H-R-I-S?
C-H-R-I-S, yeah.
Okay, is he white, black, Asian, Hispanic?
He's white.
Okay.
It's Chris Hansen, lady.
He's like probably 58, 60.
Something like that.
Probably.
Dude, this is so funny.
5'10", 5'11".
This is so funny.
Okay. Thin, medium, or heavy?
He's skinnier.
What color hair?
Bitch, look up Dateline.
Okay.
Do me a favor. Dude, I would crash out. I would literally crash out if the 911 lady was having me describe Chris Hansen. I'd be like, do you watch TV? Have you ever seen? How have you not seen this? Bitch, look this up right now. Do me a favor, open Google.
See what he's wearing or no?
I think he's wearing a black jacket.
Okay.
I have a security camera.
Uh-huh. Can you see what color pants?
He's wearing a black jacket, black pants. His hair is gray. He's still yelling things at me through the door.
Greg, are you there?
Yeah, he sounds manic. He sounds like he wants me dead. And I can't tell, but he might be threatening me.
This would be a great opportunity for you guys to tell your side of the story here. Talk about the controversy, the allegations. The allegations of grooming, the inappropriate behavior allegations.
Can you hear what he's yelling?
Oh, he's saying, I want your side of the story, Greg. My name's not even Greg.
Okay. What is your last name?
My name is James Jackson.
Okay. Last of Jackson, first of James is what I heard. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's saying, I just want to talk through the door.
Okay.
Greg, Onision, James.
He's saying, why are you here to meet a 14-year-old through the door?
James's demeanor on this 911 call is dramatically different from what we've seen recently on his YouTube videos, where he's variously claimed that he's having some sort of a breakdown, upset that people are approaching him on the street, saying that his condition is somehow a result of a dog having sex with him when he was younger.
Yeah.
I don't even know the lore on this one, honestly. I remember like Augie talking about this for a second, maybe, or something. I don't even remember what the lore on this is. Like, what the fuck?
Okay. Do you have any weapons in the home, James?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Well, this is not a parody.
And
Chris Hansen
you said
was.
that there's roughly 5 more people there with cameras.
Chris Hansen had like a fall off where he was accusing people that were not, that there was like no evidence that they were doing anything wrong of being pedophiles. Like Chris Hansen had a crazy crash out where he was cheating on his wife with like people on the set, and that like disgraced him from NBC and Dateline and whatever. And so then he was like independent, and then in that independent phase, it took like a huge professional like fall off, where it was like when they're doing the TV show, they have lawyers, they're doing everything legally, they're like actually working with police, blah blah blah. When he went solo, he was like not really, and so he just started accusing like random people of being pedophiles, and I like taking YouTuber jokes and bait and things like Onision pretending to be mentally ill for views, and then like trying to like investigate that and stuff. So he had like a weird fall off, and now he's kind of back on. I think like he's sort of redeemed himself, but it's weird.
Yes, in the driveway.
Okay. A second here. And do you know what he's talking about, like why he was stalking you or anything like that?
No, Onision's not the one who shoved a banana up his ass. That is the Amazing Atheist. Onision's the banana. You're thinking of the Amazing Atheist is the one that shoved a banana up his ass. Right? And how banana destroyed a legacy, right? And
TJ's removal was easily overshadowed by
peacefully it sits over human hand.
Do you want to see just I said it running the
things that have no right to complain. Personal
with more than just his hand was making its rounds on the internet.
A highly personal video of mine leaked onto the internet, and I have no right to complain. Further, the things depicted in the video and photo that leaked are things that I did and enjoyed at the request of a girl that I knew and was talking to at the time. In fact, a girl that I still talk to. I sent it to a few other girls that I talked to on the side, and apparently one of
bro was sending it to the side hoes. Nah. Nah. Hey, baby, you want to see something? Hey, baby girl, you trying to see what this asshole can do?
Them decided to share it with the world. I don't know who it was, nor do I really care. The things that I did because I enjoy them. I wasn't ashamed of them when I was doing them in private. I see no reason.
He was a sub and he was dom, and she was his dom. Yeah, exactly. Roper General gets it.
Be ashamed of them now that they've been made public. I mean, let's face it here. I am and always have been a fucking weirdo. 90% of you, if you really thought about it, would have been able to figure out that I was doing some weird shit like this in my spare time in the first place.
That was TJ's
yeah, that the banana's the only part of it. The other part is the fucking hot oil. He was now, like, I haven't seen the uncensored version, but I've seen like a lightly censored version because Colossal is crazy made that video back in the day, and he was like pouring hot oil on his fucking balls for some reason. And going, oh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. Like, I'm so serious. But yeah, no. And you're mixing it up because Onision is actually the banana that was in his ass. I'm a banana. I'm a banana. That's why you're thinking. Look at me, man. I'm a banana. I'm a banana. I'm a banana. Look at me, man. Banana power. Banana power. Banana power. Banana power. Banana power. Banana power. Look at me, move. Uh-oh, banana time. Uh-oh, banana time. Uh-oh, banana time. Stop. Right? Sorry, I was entranced a little bit. So yeah, that's the Onision. That's the deal with the Onision thing, right? Oh my gosh, he's still making stuff. 2.8 thousand views. Oh my gosh,
What's up,
the
guys?
fall off.
I spent all Emo Charlie's money on a knockoff Bugatti from Temu or Alibaba.
Dude, this is like he's making like Vine style content on YouTube in 2025. Like, what the fuck is going on?
I'm about to show you what it looks like.
Hey, yeah, when I saw you drained my bank account, I went ahead and sold your dog to Asia and shipped it off yesterday.
You show it, Bam Bam?
Yup.
That's like selling a cow to America.
I bet Widow Bam Bam tastes
Millennials,
really good
dude.
with soy sauce.
Millennials, like, this is this the biggest YouTuber fall off ever? This has to be where it's like he had so many views. He could just spam any content. He has 290 million views. And then he has like 10 channels too. Maybe his other channels are doing better. How do you see all the channels? He's got like 10 Onision channels. Oh, here. Onision Music. Death Note parodies. Dark humor. 360 hostage roleplay. Wait, was he cooking? Wait a fucking second. Was he cooking? Dark humor. He was the emo Hazan of 2010. True.
Are you good? Are you glad you're here? Well, I'm super ecstatic to have you around. I want you to think about the environment. I want you to look around and enjoy your time. Oh, baby.
Dude, the way millennials just got the best fucking Joker impression ever, man. And it's tough, and it's like the toughest shit. Like that's the thing, is it's awesome. This was 2018. This wasn't even that long ago.
Oh, I'm gonna have so much fun with you. Where's my time?
Dude, this is like Dalton coded. That is like Dalton's Joker.
I have no clue what I'm going to do to this one, but it's gonna be so much fun.
No, I understand 2018 is a long time ago, but 2018 is not a long enough time ago for doing a Joker hostage role play to make sense. That's like 7 years after the Joker Dark Knight movie came out. Like,
let me tell you how I came to be. Shut up. Shut up. Let me tell you how I came to be. I was a little boy in a big bad world. And then one day, a man touched me. He touched me with his blade. He touched me with his rage. And it felt good, Daddy. It felt so good.
Dude, gay Joker?
I will. You just wait.
Too scary, dude. Penny board.
We're not so much fun, you and me. I can't wait. Just have a taste. Just have a taste. You have no idea how long I wanted this. Just to feel your flesh under my knives. But I can't. You're protected.
Spurred gay Joker comes in.
I need him to come so I can kill him in front of him. I'm gonna step slow. And twist the blade so the wound stays open. I'm gonna drink the blood right out of his fucking body. It's gonna be.
Dude, he killed Batman.
To keep you alive.
Yeah, I don't know what Chris Hansen was even fucking worried about. Like that. What was he even scared of?
It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in the driveway.
Okay.
But I have someone that there's an 18, no, I think they're 19, a 19-year-old who I didn't want to hang out with. I didn't want to be around them. They have BPD, and their stuff was, their mental disorder was like really affecting my life in a negative way. And so I said I didn't want them in my life anymore.
19. I think they're legal.
This person and said a bunch of mean things about me. And so now this person's trying to like aggressively pursue me in a really hateful way as a result.
Okay, so you said they're from YouTube though. So is it like a show that they do, or?
It's a live stream. Yeah, I've already talked to a lawyer about slander and stuff. This guy's really, really hateful towards me.
Okay.
What's Sly too?
And Are you able to see what type of vehicle they arrived in?
No, they parked way down the street, which is really sketchy.
Okay, next.
Okay.
Anyway, that's fun. What else we got? Hold on, throw these in here. Chris Hansen. Somebody brings a pizza to the Chris Hansen. We got physiognomy analysis. Ooh, new physiognomy video dropped. Leaked Onision Discord call. Wait, so what was the... This is like the same time. What was the deal with this? Augie? Wait, he did like the Nukes top...
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel here.
He stole the Nukes top 10.
Breaking news. Like, this came out literally, if I check my notifications.
Oh, that's what we just watched. Okay.
Race. Now, right off the